So this morning I am going to be doing some exercises that are working on the deeper core muscles, and we're going to be working very much this morning thinking about our breathing and thinking about controlling the movements, because that is what is most important. And what we want is those deeper core muscles to work automatically. So when we're moving around, when we're doing our activities of daily life, that's when we want them kicking in. So you'll find that I'm not really going to cue the core muscles today. I'm going to cue position, and I'm going to talk about breathing and things. And that's very intentional because I want you to think about the movements, and that's actually going to get those core muscles working more automatically. Hi Trish, good to see you. It's very warm this morning, isn't it? It's like I'm doing hot Pilates this morning, I think, because it's so warm in here. So it is warm, so just take it nice and easy, make sure you've got a glass of water. But we're not going to be doing anything too strenuous, so don't worry. But yes, it's really important that we get those deeper core muscles working before we start to work on those bigger core muscles, because the smaller core muscles, or the deeper core muscles, they're not necessarily smaller, but they're deeper down. They actually work on stabilising everything, keeping us in a good position so that our muscles that perhaps are more responsible for our power or our movement can actually do their job as well. So it's all getting those muscles to work together. Hi Linda, good to see you. So before we get started, just a couple of things I need to say. Always work to your own level within the session. If you, obviously, none of the exercises should cause you any pain or discomfort, and you are free to stop at any time. If you do have any health problems, if you are recovering from injuries, and you're not sure if Pilates is going to be suitable for you, then obviously please do check with your health professional before you get started. Hi Pat, good to see you too. So we're going to be on the mat today, so you're just going to need somewhere to lie down and something to support your head, folded towel, cushion, something like that. Let's get started. So, excuse me, crawling over to the mat. We're going to start off by let's come down onto our side and then roll over onto our back. And then you just want to get nice and comfortable. So you want to make sure that your head is supported. We're going to have the knees bent up, feet hip distance apart. And then we just want to find our neutral spine position. So what I mean by neutral is that we're not arching the back away from the mat, but we're not pushing the back into the mat. We're somewhere in the middle. So a really nice way to find that is to just rock your pelvis backwards and forwards. So if we take a breath in, on your breath out, imagine that you're rolling your back into the mat and your tailbone is just gently coming up, but you're not lifting off the mat. And then just gently let your back arch slightly away and your tailbone tilt down. So breathing out, breathing in. And this is a really nice one to do as well if you suffer with back pain, because just gently rocking is just going to loosen off the lower back and also open up the joints a little bit. So just rocking backwards and forwards, feel the different positions. So feel what it feels like to have your back pushed into the mat. Feel what it feels like to have your back arched away, and then come to rest into the middle. Okay, so you've got maybe a little bit of air under the back, but you're not arching away, you're not pushing in. So just get nice and comfortable. Then I want you to place your hands onto your lower ribs. I want you to take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, just allow your ribs to just sort of soften down into the mat. So you just imagine that you're just letting go of any tension, and you can just feel the sort of the back of the rib cage here in contact with the mat. And then we want to think about widening the collarbones and just lengthening through the back of the neck. So we're not letting the head drop backwards. We've got that sort of sense of length. And then we're going to bring the arms down by the side. So I just want you to think about that position for a minute, and we want to try and stay in that position. So we don't want to hold ourselves rigid, but we just want to have an awareness of that sense of length through the spine as we just float the arms just over the shoulders. And then we're going to float them back down. So we're going to float them over the shoulders, and we're going to float them down. Now I want you to think about your breathing. So we're going to take a breath in as we lift the arms up, and a breath out as we float them down. Breath in, breath out. Perfect. Breath in and breath out. Okay, so we're watching. What we're trying to do is keep that control through the back, so we're not letting the ribs pop up in the back arch. We're going to take that to level 2. So this time we're going to take a breath in before we start, and as we breathe out, we're going to breathe out and lift the arms all the way over the head. and then we're going to breathe in to come back. Okay, so we're going to breathe in here, breath out, and then breathe in to come back. And what I want you to watch is what's happening here. So as your arms lifting up, what we want to make sure is that we're not tilting and arching the back. So think back, just keeping that length through the spine as we take the arms back, only as far as you can control, and then bring them back down. So we're going to come up and down. We're going to do one more. So breath out. And breath in. Lovely. So that's working sort of on the control of our upper body. Now what we're going to do is take that to the lower body. So again, we want to keep that neutral spine position. We're not going to force the movement. Sorry, if you can hear the banging, it's bin day here. So I think that may be the bin men. So we're going to keep that neutral spine position here. We're going to have the arms by the side, and then we're going to take a breath in. And as we breathe out, we're going to slide one leg down the mat. And then we're going to slide that leg back up. Then to the other side, we're going to breathe out, slide one leg down the mat, and then come back up. Now what we're making sure, again this time, and I'm going to exaggerate, but as we're doing that, we're making sure we're not lifting and arching the back. So we're keeping this sort of connection between the ribs and the pelvis. We're using our breath out to extend. We're using our breath in to come back. We're sliding the leg along the mat, keeping this length here. Perfect. Breath out. Breath in. And it's those deeper tummy muscles that are keeping us in a good position. So we're breathing normally so they can work effectively, and we're keeping and maintaining that position. We're just going to do one more to each side. And then we're going to add those two exercises together. So now what the muscles are having to do is control what's happening in the lower body and control what's happening in the upper body, so they're having to work a little bit harder. So for this one, we're going to start with the arms over our shoulders, shoulder blades sinking into the mat, palms facing in. And again, we've got that sense of length through the spine. We want to think about this sort of, again, connection between the ribs and pelvis, and we're not trying to fix anything, we're just trying to keep the position. We're going to take a breath in. As you breathe out, we're going to slide one leg and see if we can lift the arms gently, sort of over the head, and then come back. Now, you don't have to take your hands all the way back to the floor. I just want you to go as far as you can control the movement. So we breathe out, and we breathe in. Breath out. Breath in. If you want to pause here, just recheck your position. And then it's a breath in before we start, breath out as we do the movement. And again, we want to watch we don't go banana shape, so we don't lift. And again, I'm prone to exaggeration, but we're making sure that we're not arching the back. We're keeping this control here. Breath out. Breath in. And it's actually, if you really think about the movements, it actually takes quite a lot of concentration to keep that control. Let's do one more. So we're breathing out, breathing in, and then float the arms down. Lovely. We're going to bring one leg into the chest. You can then either bring the other leg in, or you can do one at a time. Give yourself a little hug. And then we're going to come down. Okay, so we're going to do our scissors now. So our scissors exercise, we're going to do it just with one leg. Again, is to control that movement forwards and backwards of the pelvis. So I want you to imagine you've got a spring that attaches to your ribs and it attaches to the top of your pelvis. And you want to keep the tension the same in the spring. So what you don't want to feel is that as your leg moves, the spring stretches, and as the leg comes back, the spring recoils. You want to keep the same amount of tension in there as you do the exercise. So just bring your hands, thumbs to your lower ribs, hands to the top of your pelvis. And just think about that distance. So you're not pulling anything in, you're just thinking about that distance. You've got the length through the spine, collarbones wide, neck nice and long. And then we're going to bring the arms back down by the side, and we're just going to keep that connection there as we take a breath in. And as we breathe out, we're going to slide one leg and then lift it into tabletop. We're just keeping the tummy nice and level, pelvis nice and still. We hold it as we take a breath in. And then as you breathe out, we bend and lower. Okay, same to the other side. So breath in before we start, breath out. Breath in as we hold the position. So make sure you do take that breath in and not hold your breath. And then we come back down. And again, so breath out. Breath in. And we're just keeping that control. And lower. Slide and lift. And again, you don't want to feel any tension anywhere through the body. You should be able to breathe normally. We're just floating and lifting the leg. Almost imagine that the leg is light and it floats up. Knee over the hip and the leg parallel to the floor. Perfect. Breath out. Breath in and hold. Breath out to lower. Think of shoulders relaxed. Think of arms relaxing by the side. Keeping that sense of length through the spine. Breathing nice and gently. Breathing out to lower. We're just going to do one more. So we're going to come up. Hold it there. And lower down. Fantastic. Okay, so those were all muscles. They were muscles, but those are all exercises to get those deeper core muscles working. The last one I want to show you today is for your glutes, so it's for your bottom muscles. And sometimes, I'm going to show you a variation because sometimes if you've got back problems, doing the full version of this can be a bit uncomfortable when you get started. So we're going to do a modified version of our shoulder bridge. Now you won't need all your head blocks behind your head for this one. So you want to be as low as you possibly can be. If you're comfortable without anything behind your head, then go for that. Now I always find it more comfortable to just have something really low, just because I've got a bit of a dodgy neck. So it's up to you, but ideally as low as you can because you don't want any pressure through the neck. What we're going to do then is bring the arms by the side and just bring the heels a fraction closer to the bottom. You don't want to bring them right in, but just a fraction closer. Then what we're going to do is we're going to think about our pelvis position again, and we're going to rock the pelvis gently into the mat, and then we're just going to squeeze the bottom, and then we're going to come back to neutral, okay? So on the next one, we're going to do exactly the same, but we're going to come back, we're going to push through the feet, and we're going to lift the bottom into our shoulder bridge. Now, when we come up, we want to make sure that the weight is on the shoulder blades. You're not trying to take the weight, you're not trying to go really high that you've got pressure through the neck. So let's take a breath in, breath out, tilt the pelvis slightly, squeeze the bottom, push through the feet, keep the back straight, and just lift your bottom off the mat. And what you're doing is you want your knees have a nice diagonal line to your shoulders, so you're not arching your back. We hold it as we take a breath in, and then as you breathe out, you fold at the hips, keep the back straight, and you just lower the bottom gently down. This is probably the trickiest one out of all of the ones today. Okay, so breath in, breath out, slight tilt of the pelvis, squeeze the bottom cheeks, push through the feet, lift the bottom, and we want that nice diagonal line from the knees to the shoulder blades. There shouldn't be any tension through the neck at all. Hold it for your breath in. We're going to fold at the hips, slowly lower down. Okay, so this time I want you to think about keeping your pelvis level. So we don't want one side working harder than the other. So exactly the same, squeeze the bottom, push through the feet, keep the back straight. Really think about keeping the pelvis nice and level. This shouldn't cause you any discomfort anywhere. It shouldn't pull on your back. And then we're going to fold, lower down nice and gently. We're just going to do one more. Okay, breath in, breath out, slight tilt, squeeze the bottom, push through the feet, keep the back straight. Again, weight on the shoulder blades, no tension through the neck. We're going to hold it there. And then as you breathe out, just slowly lower down. Fantastic. Take the legs out. Take the arms overhead. Have a nice stretch out. Breath in. And out. And then we're going to come back. Just pop your head block in, or whatever you've had under your head. We're just going to finish with a knee roll to one side. So bring the knees and feet together, hands out to the side. We're just going to roll the knees gently to one side. Again, keeping the shoulders on the mat. Just gently come back to centre, gently to the other side. So we're not forcing anything. We just go within our own comfortable range. And then come back to centre. Draw one leg into the chest. You can then either draw the other leg as well, or you can do one at a time. Little hug. Breath in and out, and then come back down. Fantastic. And then I'm going to come back up. bit warm, and then I'm going to come over, and if you've got any questions, I am here to answer. Lovely. So hi Louise, hi Ria. So has anybody got any questions? I know there's a slight delay with the feed that comes through on the Facebook Live. So if you are watching this on the replay later and you do have any questions, please pop a comment underneath. I'm happy to answer any questions. But those were just some exercises, as I say, to get those deeper core muscles working. And also we snuck one in at the end that we were getting our glutes muscles working a little bit as well. But they're nice, gentle exercises to start off with, as I say, to get that awareness of your movement and your control. And I purposely didn't, you know, sometimes with Pilates we get you to draw your tummy in, and I purposely didn't get you to do that this morning because I think it's more important, especially when you're getting started, that you breathe and that you control the movements and that you're in a good position. Because if you're breathing normally, then these muscles will work automatically in the background at a low level, which is what we want. We want them working when we are doing things, when we're out and about, and we don't normally walk about pulling our tummy in. And sometimes if you've got pain or back pain, they can actually overwork these tummy muscles because they want to protect us. So actually what we can find is that they're overworking. So again, it's just sort of keeping that balance. Right, so thank you very much for watching. As I say, I'm back tomorrow for our last day where we're going to be doing some different exercises. And I have also got an announcement of something that is coming up in a couple of weeks' time. So join me tomorrow and I will fill you in on all of that. If you enjoyed the session, then please share it. I would love it if you shared the video so it can reach as many people as possible. And as I say, I'm available for questions. Just pop a comment below and I will try my best to answer any questions that you have. All right, take care everyone, and I'll see you